Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're back with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 61, War number 4, and the legend himself, Intercept 69420, has returned to Alliance War. My alt joined Bolt as of War number 4 because they had a member retire. And I wanted to join because I do not want to have to play Alliance Quest, and they don't do Alliance Quest, which is amazing. That's perfect for me. So, also, I do apologize for my voice in this video. It is going to sound a little bit weird. I got my wisdom teeth off 4 days ago, so I was just recovering for the last few days, and today is the first day I can really talk normally, somewhat normally. You guys might not even hear it, but to me it's really noticeable, and I'm in a good amount of pain, which is fun. But we get really, really terrible RNG on our first fight here, which is No Dying Dark Phoenix. In my first 6 hits of the fight, I get 5 DOT, and then I think we get normal RNG from the beginning. But normally after 2 heavies, I'm at like 95% health. So we're basically just 20% lower than we normally would be for absolutely no reason other than bad RNG. But yeah, we're going to keep cycling these L2s. We're going to throw another one right here, and then I think here we're ready to heavy. I normally don't heavy when she could get immortality. However, I noticed there that my heavy was not going to push her to special 3, and I know the full dex on the L2, so I wasn't concerned, but we did fail her immortality there. We're going to have a couple fights in this war that are really not great. This Nick Fury is the first one. This is on Hazard Shift, and originally I was bringing someone else for this fight. I was bringing a Shock Immune champion here, but then I realized Hood could kind of do this, and I have some scarier fights later in the war that I'd rather have the Strife synergy for, so I decided to use Hood here. We still have our PS1 boost going on, and I know that I'm not going to have my miss, but it's kind of the same as doing the Onslaught matchup, which is something I do pretty often, so I'm not too worried. Here he unfortunately throws his L1, but we get our invisibility up, and there I just failed to counter it. I did the wrong timing. But now we're at our L2, we're reducing Hazard Shift, but we still get 2 Hazard Shift triggers on the L2, which is really unlucky. But we're just going to try to remember to block and not rely on our miss, because we will essentially almost never be able to actually use it in this fight. I think here we're going to hit a... Oh no, we would have gone for a reparry, but there my heavy... he just went for his heavy. And then there, I thought he was dashing in, and he blocked my L2. So now, we are in the dangerous part of the fight, the second part, the second life, and he is unblockable, and I'm not reducing Hazard Shift at all. So I'm just taking Hazard Shift, and by the way, the Hazard Shift is being increased by his Fury, like his Fury buff, which normally Hood would have removed on my first L2 of the fight had he not blocked it. And just to add on top of that, we got horrible Hazard Shift RNG even with the Fate Seal up, and I had 5 DOT on me at the same time. So we threw some potions in, we go into the next fight, and I'm going to make another mistake in this fight. So this is Encroaching Stun Shocker. This is not the most threatening fight in the world. However, I'm just going to make a really bad and frankly just dumb mistake here. So we're going to start off by getting a couple heavy counter heavies just because it's pretty safe to do so. But for some reason in this fight, I go for invisibility really early. I don't know why, because I've done this before and I've had to recover from the Encroaching Stun because I wouldn't have invisibility in time. Here I could have just thrown L1 and it would have prevented me from getting stunned, but because I'm stupid, that is not what's going to happen. And that's not the only mistake I make. Actually, wait, it is the only mistake I make. There, I went for a medium into FP2, so 6 times I inflicted bullets while I had invisibility, and the Power Steal failed all 6 times, which is like a 1% chance. It's so insanely unlucky to happen, or so insanely unlikely, excuse me. So that's fun. Now that Chakra's gotten to L2 for the first time, the Energize is gone and we are able to end the fight. But just absolutely horrendous RNG right there. Unfortunately made me eat a special 3, and Chakra's special 3 hits surprisingly hard. Honestly, I did not expect it to be quite that hard, but because he can't crit, his attack rating is actually pretty high. So that makes sense. Next up here, we have not the best matchup in the world. Hood into Korg is normally a very good matchup because you can just use your phase to go for a bunch of light hits. But in this one, you don't want to do the same hit twice in a row. So I'm going to get degens on me trying to remove the rock stack safely. And initially, I was going to attempt to farm as many bullets back as I could in this fight because I used more in the shocker fight than I was anticipating. But yeah, we are going to take a good amount of health, unfortunately, because there's not really a way to avoid doing the same hit twice in a row and avoid the rock shield damage. Like, you got to take one of the two of them. So I elected to just take some extra degen damage because it ultimately does less damage to me than the rock shield would have. And then there he dexed my L2, which is just perfect. I was trying to use that to remove the rock stacks, and he dexed it, so love that for me. Going for some extra heavies. Luckily, the degen doesn't tick us too hard. I mean, even with 2 degens, we are barely losing health here from willpower. And when we have 1, we're actually healing a good amount because this is only a rank 3 Korg, so the attack rating isn't that high. But yeah, sometimes we are going to take a little bit of rock shield damage because, of course, we are going to be healing whenever our stagger expires from Hood's abilities, but still really annoying. And then here I think we go for a heavy and it finishes the fight off. But yeah, that's a bit of an awkward matchup. It's fine. Like, I knew it's safe. I just, you're going to lose a little bit of health. That's all. So we'll go up to the next fight here. This is going to be Node 39 Thanos with Hood, a fight I've done so many times, and even since this, I've done this like 4 times because as of the time I'm recording this, it is War 8 going on right now. War 8's done in like an hour and a half at the time I'm recording this, and because it was reading week, I was just away, so I wasn't able to record any videos, which is why I'm 4 wars behind, but I'm trying my best to catch up. So Thanos, here we have a PS1 boost on. Normally I don't have a PS1 boost on because I normally have to take a fight on the second mini boss island, but here my next fight after this with Hood is actually a hazard shift fight. It's hazard shift Killmonger, so I have a PS1 boost on for that, and I figured I might as well throw it on here because it's more useful here than it is in the fight after Killmonger. But there is actually one fight in this war that you will see a little bit later on, that's probably what the title is, that I've been waiting for a really long time, and that is going to be a future Ant-Man boss. We have not seen a single future Ant-Man boss in my BG ever. Like, not a single time ever. And I've seen him been placed as a boss in the other BGs probably 5 or 6 times. And every time I'm so jealous because I so badly want to take that fight with Hood, and I just didn't get the chance until this war. So it's kind of weird that they would place him as a boss now when he was tactic last season and we didn't see him as a boss a single time, but whatever. That's fine. Here, this is Killmonger on Node 45. It's only a rank 3 Killmonger, but it's going to be the same fight plan, and I'm very, very confident taking this fight against a rank 4, as I'm going to do multiple times in the next few wars. But we're going to start out not parrying because it's Node 45. We don't want to give him any extra power gain at the start of the fight. But we start with a parry heavy. Now we're going to be going for our mediums. There, I thought I was at a special 2. Turns out I was at like 1.9999 bars of power, so that just means that we don't have the Fate Seal up. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of extra hazard shift damage while we get back to the L2, but I'm pretty sure we actually get decent RNG. Yeah, we only got 2 hazard shift triggers on our way back to the L2, so that's pretty nice. I think, yeah, there 4 power steals failed in a row. That's not lovely. We don't like that, but it's fine. And then here, I think we're going to go for another heavy attack just to delay. Yeah, that'll give me a chance to get my invisibility up before my next L2. And the heavy attack resets the duration on the Fate Seal, so we're still lowering the chances of hazard shift. But considering this was a rank 3 Killmonger, this was actually a pretty bad fight, and I lost probably about double the amount of health that I should have, but to be fair, that's completely on me for making mistakes in that fight. And now we're up to our last mini-boss of the war before the boss, and this is going to be Node 47 Sentinel. Really, really easy hood fights, and it's a fight I've taken many times. It's by far the best option for Sentinel here if you're a competent hood player. I don't think this one's going to be super fast, just because I do not have a Power Start 1 going. A Power Start 1 probably saves about 15 to 20 seconds in this fight just because of the way that it usually works out. But we're going to be going for our light, medium combos. There, that heavy attack he randomly dashed in on. I think that was a bad input from me. Like, I don't think I meant to go for a heavy attack. I think it was an accident, but it doesn't really make a difference. And here we're going to wait for our invisibility because I know I'll be able to start cycling L2s right here. And now here's where the damage is really going to come in, because when Hood is invisible, he ignores a percentage of the opponent's armor rating, which does apply to armor rating like other than armor up buffs, just general armor rating. It just reduces it all. So that's another reason that Hood is very good against Sentinel. There he randomly charges heavy while I was getting my invisibility up, but it's fine. And we're just going to keep cycling L2s. I'm not insanely concerned about my bullets, but we're still going to go for a couple extra heavies because I would ideally like to go into the boss fight with almost max bullets, if not max bullets. We're going to bait out one more L2 here, and then I think we're just going to throw one more L2 and he's going to die. Let's see. I don't remember. Yeah, okay, I was right. So yeah, that kills, and we do actually end up finishing the fight with 37 bullets, which is pretty nice. So now our last fight of the war on my main account. This is going to be a rank 4 future Ant-Man boss, and while this is not going to be the fastest fight in history because the taunt actually messes with Hood a lot, and the stun immunity being gone doesn't really help because there's not many times you actually want to parry with Hood. The taunt is the main difference here, and with Hood, the taunt actually matters a lot because not only does it reduce the damage of your hits, your specials at the time, like basically everything, it also reduces the damage of your bursts. So if you detonate with a taunt up, every single hex that you have on your opponent that is being detonated is going to be reduced by the attack lowering of the taunt, which really, really sucks. Like, we're going to go for that heavy attack there. That probably did less than half the amount of damage it should have. And luckily, the Fate Seal on Hood is going to fail the taunt sometimes, but not all the time. Actually, wait, does it? I don't actually know. It hasn't failed it yet in the fight, but it's only been like twice it's activated while I had Fate Seal up. I don't know. Anyways, we're not going to die to this boss. This is insanely easy. I think that's the only time we actually end up getting hit. This is a very easy fight, though. I'm very, very comfortable doing this with Hood. Okay, there we failed the taunt. So it is possible with Fate Seal. It's just RNG. There we failed it twice in a row and 3 times in a row. Okay, so at the beginning of the fight when I was trying to point it out, we didn't fail it a single time. But now that I wanted to point it out, we fail it like right after three times in a row. So that's wonderful. And then here we are. I don't think we're able to detonate here. Yeah, because no, we actually are, because I still have the Fate Seal. So I should go for a heavy attack here, and this one is going to do the full damage. So that was a nice 330k burst. I don't know why I was trying to bait out that L2, but unfortunately he does throw it, and now we are going to have to... Oh no, we actually get back to our L2 in time. I thought we were going to have to wait until the next invisibility, but that's pretty nice. So yeah, just going for our mediums. It's going to be a little bit of a longer fight, as I said, but insanely safe. And I don't know who else I would send to a fan boss, honestly. I don't know how Carolina does against fan. I've never seen the matchup, but I'm assuming it's fine. So maybe that, but if I saw it in AOH and I was planning the war, I would 100% send Hood again because it was so easy and so safe. But yeah, I think we're going to go for a heavy attack here and it kills. So it was a nice fight. It was a clean fight, just a little bit slow, but I wasn't exactly going for speed there. And now, guys, it is time. Intercept 69-420 has returned to Alliance War. And we have a nice 4-fighter war here. This was my first war with the new alliance, so I can't exactly expect them to start giving me 8-fight wars right away. Although in War 8, I did get an 8-fighter war on my alt account, so you will see that when we get to war number 8. But for war number 4 here, we are a Path Demon, and we actually have matched Salty. So at this point, Bolt hadn't lost a single war. We were 3-0. They had just come off of a win against GT40 right before I joined them. And this is Path 2, Section 1. So this is the Prowess node where I need to alternate my hits. And then I also don't want him throwing special attacks because he is going to place the neutralize on me, I believe it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, this Havok was running willpower, so it's a really easy fight. I just don't even have to bait a single special attack, and that goes down really nicely. We have a Hood fight here. We have this America Chavez, and this is on the root node, and we're going to throw on a PS1. The PS1 was not for this fight, it was for the next fight, as you will see, but it's still good to have it here. It's obviously going to make it a little bit faster. I wouldn't have used a 200% Mystic Power Back boost here, except that that one was going to expire if I didn't use it, so might as well. And this is going to be pretty straightforward. Even when I don't have a bullet back synergy, I still like to go for some extra heavy attacks. Or not extra heavy attacks, but I like to start out with a heavy attack to just give me a good amount of spacing to trigger my invisibility without her charging heavy. And yeah, we're just going to keep cycling L2s. I think right here, she's not going to dash in, so I'm not going to be able to detonate, but I do fail the root, so now she is dead. And even though we're down to 7 bullets because of who I'm fighting in the next fight, I know that I'm not going to have an issue with running out of bullets. So once it loads, we'll go up to our next fight in Section 2. We're going to be taking Path 3 Okoye, which is a really good matchup for Hood. Even after this war, I've already taken it like 3 or even 4 more times with Hood, because it's such a common placement and Hood is such a good counter to it. And from having done it so many times, I kind of have a cycle that I do that like I just do every single time on this fight, which is I'm going to start with a 5-hit combo, and then I'm going to parry heavy, and then I'm going to get my invisibility, and at that point I'm just going to cycle L2s. So yeah, we do it there, go for a heavy, that is going to give me an opportunity to get my invisibility, and now the fight is over, because I'm going to get tons of bullets back when I throw this L2, nullifying all of the precisions. And then yeah, we're just going to keep cycling L2s. We don't even need to worry about the encroaching stun timer, because we are stun immune during our miss. There, I don't know why I was hesitating, but I did not hit her, so now I need to bait out this. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go medium into a striker and detonate, and then if this doesn't kill, we're going to go for invisibility. Yeah, okay, so still super safe. The other times I take this fight, I don't bait a special, I just keep cycling L2s, but it's fine. And then here we're going to parry heavy because she did not throw an SP1, which means she does not have her endurance up. So you can safely parry heavy. So one more fight left this war, and we are going to speed it up because it's going to be a little bit of a slow fight, although it is going to be incredibly safe. This is going to be Man-Thing on Safeguard. We're going to use Warlock here. I just really wanted a poison immune, and I'm aware this is going to be an incredibly slow fight, both because of him not taking any extra crit damage and Safeguard. We're just gonna we're gonna bait specials. We're gonna be careful we don't push Man-Thing to a special 3, and we're just gonna be doing our light medium combos. I think this fight takes about 3 minutes, so it is pretty slow, but I mean technically I could have taken this with Hood and it would have been a lot faster, but then you know that the second I get my invisibility up, the first hit I'm going to do, he's going to nullify my invisibility, just because that's the way RNG works. It's always going to happen when you want it to happen the least, and then you're going to end up taking poison damage. So figured I'd just do the safe thing. I knew it was basically impossible for me to die to this fight with Warlock, with how incredibly safe it is, and even though it's not the best matchup in the world, we are not going to have to bait specials in the second half of the fight while he has the regen up, because he's just going to be degenning himself and power draining. But yeah, this is pretty nice. I'm not sure if this is the first fight with rank 4 Warlock. I feel like I took him into war for a few fights last season. I just can't remember which ones off the top of my head. Oh no, yeah, I definitely did, because I took Mixmaster Nefaria with him once, and that was surprisingly quick and easy. But yeah, now Manthing is about to die. I think he dies right here from this combo. So a little bit under 3 minutes, but very, very safe. And AOH did win. We had a very, very nice performance when we won 5-68. And then, unfortunately, Bolt did lose our war. We lost 9-3, and that is our first loss of the season, which is unfortunate. But it is against an alliance that is pushing to win the season, so it makes sense that it would be a little bit of a tougher one. AOH is now 2-2 on the season, and Bolt is now 3-1. I still have 0 deaths on either account, and I've soloed 36 out of 36 fights so far this season, 32 on my main and 4 on my alt, and I have an active deathless streak of 156 fights, which is a 86 fight streak on my main and a 97 fight streak on my alt. So that is going to be all. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.